Oh, Miss Idia.
So, I hear your family is something else, Sholmes.
I wouldn't say that.
Really? Grandfather, a famous private detective? Father, a famous police commissioner? A best-selling mystery novelist for a mother? Not to mention Heinkel and Kikyo. I'd say that's pretty darn impressive.
Perhaps. Unfortunately, I'm far less so. To be honest, it's quite a burden. I had hoped the two of you might understand how I feel. The daughter of the Grand Marshal of Eternia, and the young heir to the illustrious House Genealogia.
Well, you know yourself best. So, what are you gonna do? Planning to enter the Unihana PD? Or is the life of a PI more for you?
They both have their own appeal, of course. Should I join the police, master the art of leading an investigation, and hone my innate leadership skills as I work toward the top? Or should I use the deductive genius I was born with to become a famous PI, solving cases that have baffled ordinary minds the realm over? Miss Idia, which do you think would be a better use of my considerable talents?
Well, when you put it that way... Basically, it comes down to whether you'd rather start your career working for Heinkel or Kikyo, right? I bet whoever you turned down would try and convince you to reconsider. With force.
Do you really think so? Both my aunt and uncle seem frustrated with my aimless nature. I've come to think that they might even be relieved to not have me follow in their footsteps.
You may be less of a self-important spoiled brat than I thought. That's some insight after all. I guess it does run in the family. My advice would be to just watch carefully how both Heinkel and Kikyo approach their work.
Observation is one of the most fundamental skills for any investigator, to be sure.
Don't give up. Oh, you're not with Sholmes?
We are fast friends and partners, but even we don't spend all our waking hours together. On a case, we stick to our own specialties and try not to interfere with each other's processes.
Your specialties?
Sholmes tends to rely on instinct and inspiration to make his deductions. I prefer to quietly analyze the details of a crime. I suppose we are both the products of our environments.
You also come from quite the family, huh? No less impressive than Sholmes, at least.
Oh, please, come off that. Sholmes' grandfather was a world-famous detective. Mine was a world-famous detective's aide. Sholmes' father became police commissioner, while mine was never promoted beyond lieutenant. His mother is a best-selling mystery novelist. Mine, a best-selling mystery novelist's assistant. Sholmes comes from a line of brilliant deductive geniuses, while I come from a line of glorified sidekicks. There are no Inspector Heinkels or Silent Sleuth Kikyos among my relatives. Not that I'd expect the heirs to the houses of Lee and Genealogia to understand.
So what are you gonna do once Sholmes figures out his career path?
Who knows? I can only do what I can. Quietly, out of the spotlight.
I see. Sorry to interrupt your investigation.
He's almost like a different person when he's not together with Sholmes.
Oh, idiot. I'll not be taking any ridiculous questions about why a knight like myself is now working for some backwater municipal police force.
Heinkel,
Do not worry. I have not betrayed your father's trust, nor have I turned my back on Eternia. My business is mine alone. Further prying will get no more out of me.
Murderer.
I would not object to telling you the tale, but now is not the time. I suggest you desist. Inspector! You must see this, sir! Understood. I'm on my way.
Heinkel,
What more can you have to pester me about?
just, why are you still wearing that? I mean, you don't usually see a crime scene investigator in full plate armor.
Ha! Have you ever seen me in anything else? It'll take more than a job change to get me to lay these aside. Not to mention my great shield.
If you say so.
Sir! Ah! Can you simpletons go 1 minute without hounding me? What is it this time?
It's Madame Golddigger, sir. She's dead.
What's that you say?
I heard a noise and came running, but she was already cold.
Did she do this herself? A murder-suicide?
A fine mess this has become.
The madam is dead? Oh, say it is not so! Madam Golddigger as well? But what about the sale?
That's hardly.
Is it true? Lord Gulliver's wife dead as well?
Whitson! Quick to the scene, I see.
Ugh, everyone's already here but you, Sholmes!
So, Madame Golddigger is also dead. This is surely a case of murder!
And just why do you think that, Sholmes?
Call it a sixth sense? A flash of insight? A strong hunch? And it tells me now that the murderer is hiding beneath that table! Wait, huh?
Come, Sholmes, even for you, that's a bit... What's that?
A note. I shall follow where you go. Did Madame Golddigger write this?
She killed herself out of grief over the loss of her beloved husband?
No. This was surely planted by the murderer to lead us astray. A personal challenge from the true culprit.
Hang on, where's the challenge in there?
There must be a hidden message. If we look at the first letter of each sentence...
There's only one sentence!
Oh, enough! We start the investigation from the top. Yeah, what a miserable day.
Heinkel, how sure are we that this room is really secure?
We've been over every inch and found not a single hidden passage. It's a sealed chamber if I ever saw one.
Kikyo, you stayed here when you were with the Black Blades, didn't you? How well did you all know the fort?
When I was stationed here as part of the Black Blades covert forces, I knew every hidden passage in this fort. It appears, however, that there have been renovations since then, which could very well mean...
All right, listen up. I want you to go over every square inch of this room with a fine-tooth comb. Leave no stone unturned. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Uncle Heinkel. We'd like to have a word with you.
What is it this time, Sholmes?
I just thought, perhaps we should consult with Mr. Lesser. He is the owner of the fort.
Not bad.
Renovations? I'm afraid any such work would have occurred before I acquired the property.
But you should have records showing the name of the former owner, yes? The one who carried out said renovations?
Yes, I believe I do.
I thought as much. Just as you should have records of the two of us working here. Isn't that so, Whitson?
That's true enough.
I remember it well. We were still students then. It was the best pay we'd ever gotten.
Why, yes, it was.
You heard the man. Go to Mr. Lesser's office and bring me the names of everyone involved with the renovation work.
Yes, sir.
Not too shabby, Sholmes. You might have what it takes to pull off an investigation. With careful police work and keen instinct, both.
I wonder. In truth, I still can't decide. Am I best suited to the life of an inspector, tirelessly pursuing criminals through steady, thorough investigation? Or am I destined to become a genius detective, using logic and inspiration to track down the most evasive criminal masterminds?
You gotta pick one, huh? I think you should follow in Heinkel's footsteps. You'd make a great inspector. Now's not the time for you to be running around on your own as a private eye, with nothing to guide you but your hunches. Start off by working with people who have experience. Learn the ropes of how to investigate, then go from there. If you do that, I bet you'll make a great inspector someday.
Why, yes. When you put it that way, it's elementary. I'll train to become an inspector under my dear Uncle Heinkel's tutelage.
Kikyo?
I was asked by your parents to help you find a job, a sheltered little fool I barely have any ties to, but still I agreed to watch over you, even though I would rather do anything else, and this is how you repay me, you ingrate?
Kikyo?
And you. I knew you had more muscles than brains, but are you truly so foolish as to think that you could suggest that Sholmes become an inspector and it wouldn't end with you battling me, idiot?
me a break. The silent sleuth ninja Konoe Kikyo appears. That's what you want to say, right? So let's get on with it already.
So I lost to you. Who'd have thought you were this strong?
Who are you?
The game is up, Whitson. There's no place for you to run.
What?
You hoped that I wouldn't follow my Uncle Heinkel in his line of work. You didn't want a formal investigation to uncover the truth, that you were here at this very fort 2 years ago. That you knew of a certain feature of this fort, and that you...
Let us end this charade.
Whoa!
When all you had was a laughable dream of becoming a private investigator, I could turn a blind eye. But when you finally gave up your ridiculous posturing and did some real detective work, you became quite the nuisance.
What have you done with Kikyo?
I don't have to answer to you. If you care so much, find her yourself.
Get back here! A secret passage! So this is how the perpetrator... And so they found the real Kikyo bound up in another of the fort's hidden corridors? That's right. I'm just relieved she wasn't hurt. Sholmes says she was lured out by a false promise of information, then taken captive.
But in the end, we still don't know the truth of what happened?
Well, thanks to Inspector Heinkel's investigation, several facts have come to light.
Lord Gulliver's murder was the sole work of Madame Goldigga, who was after his fortune from the beginning. She heard about the hidden corridor from Whitson. Apparently those two have a history together. She just happened to hear about it?
Whitson mentioned the corridors when Lady Goldigga told him that her husband planned to purchase Starkford. Perhaps he also mentioned how ideally suited it was for staging the perfect murder.
A murder she then decided to carry out. Whatever he knew or didn't know, Whitson hurried to the crime scene under the pretense of investigating with Sholmes. Then Madame Goldigga misread his intentions, thinking he was there to help her. She tried over and over to get him on her side. In the end, she even tried threatening him, though we'll never be sure with what. But what about the note we found? I shall follow where you go.
There were quite a few theories flying around about that note, weren't there? The Madam might have written it, or...
The truth seems to be that Lord Gulliver wrote that note himself.
He did?
I guess coming to Starkford and getting caught up in its history sparked the creative urge in him. That note was from a novel he was working on. They found the continuation of it with the rest of his belongings.
Oh, so it was just a red herring.
Forgive me. It's my fault for jumping to conclusions like I did.
Apologizing for a bad hunch? Who are you, and what did you do with the real Sholmes?
I'll take that as a compliment. Inspector Heinkel has been teaching me what it means to truly be a part of a real investigative team.
Sholmes, we have a case!
Yes, sir?
Go cordon off the scene and begin collecting evidence. I'll get there as soon as I can.
Yes, sir!
Crack that whip, Heinkel. Looks like you have some high hopes for him.
Well, as it turns out, his insight has proved quite invaluable to our investigations. The day might even come when he's the one ordering me around.
You don't seem too upset about that.
If you'll excuse me, I'm due at the scene. I can't let that sniveling little upstart think he's in charge quite yet. Be well, Idia.
It seems you chose well, Idia. Everything's working out wonderfully.
Yep. Not bad if I do say so myself. And I'm relieved that I gave Sholmes good advice for his future, too.
Excuse me, can I get a soybean mochi and another cup of strong tea?
Make that 2.
One for me, too. Let's make it 5 sets.
Coming right up!
But there's only 4 of... Oh.